Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about dividing polynomials. So we've done adding, subtracting, and multiplying. So this is our last operation. We're going to be on page 250 of your Springboard book, and you'll want a pen or a pencil and a calculator. So there are actually two types of division that you can do for polynomials. The first one being long division, which we're actually going to skip. We're not going to do long division. Instead, we're going to use what's called synthetic division. And this is just another method that is useful when the divisor has the form x minus k. So basically what that means is if you're dividing by a linear term. So x minus 3, x plus 4, x minus 2, anything like that. But if we had an x squared or like a quadratic or an x cubed and we're trying to divide by that, then synthetic is not going to work. However, for this year, all you're going to have to worry about is dividing by a linear term. So we're going to use synthetic. Okay. So example B on page 250 is a really good example with a step-by-step of how to do this. So what they're doing is they're taking x to the fourth minus 13x squared plus 32, and they're dividing it by x minus 3. Okay, so the first thing, let's talk about how to set this up. And I actually will set it up a little bit differently. I kind of make a little L shape like this. And then what goes on the outside of the L shape is what you're dividing by. So they have x minus 3, and all you have to do is change the sign. So a 3 goes on the outside. Okay, it's basically like if you were to think, okay, x minus 3 equals 0. If you were to solve for that, you would add the 3 over. So x equals 3 is why you put a 3 on the outside there. Okay. Then on the inside, you are putting the coefficients for these terms. Okay. So the first term is just x to the fourth, and we can say that's like 1x to the fourth. So that's why they put a 1 here. Okay. So it's just the coefficient, no variable, no exponent. Okay. Then it jumps right from x to the fourth here to x squared. So it's missing an x cubed term. So that's why they put a 0 here as a placeholder. Okay. Then the x squared term is negative 13. Then it's also missing a linear term or an x term. So they put in another placeholder, 0. And then the constant is 32. So you want to put all of those, and that is your setup. Okay. Then to actually do the division, what you're going to do is you're going to drop down this first term, and then you're going to be multiplying here. So whatever number is outside, that 3, you're going to multiply it by what you drop down. So 3 times 1 is 3, and that goes into this next spot here. Okay. Then what you're doing is you're adding going down. So 0 plus 3 is 3. And so that's exactly what they got here in this third step. Okay. Then you just continue that process. So now we're going to still be multiplying, but we're going to do 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. And then remember, you add going down. So negative 13 plus 9 is negative 4. Okay. Then you would continue that process. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, which is what they put here. And then they added going down. So 0 plus negative 12 is negative 12, what they got there. And then you just got to do that one more time. So 3 times negative 12 is negative 36, which is what they got there. And then they added going down, 32 plus negative 36 is negative 4. Okay. So then what do we do with this information? Well, once you have all of these numbers, what you need to do is realize, okay, what we originally started for, what we were taking is an x to the fourth. So if we divide by an x term, that's going to drop it down 1 degree. So this is going to be an x cubed. Your answer or your quotient will start as an x cubed. Then your next term will be x squared. Next term will be x, and it just goes down by 1 degree each time. And then this will be your constant. And then what's left over is your remainder. So now they wrote this final answer as 1x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12 our constant, and then minus 4 our remainder. And your remainder has to be written over what we divided the whole thing by in the beginning, which was this x minus 3. Okay, so that's what your final answer looks like. Okay, so I know this kind of sounds like a lot, but let's go ahead and do some practice problems so that you guys get the hang of it. Okay. So we're actually going to do on page 251, there are these two examples. So we're going to go ahead and start with those. And I'm going to do them on the next page so we have a little bit more room. Okay. So again, first I like to draw this here. And what goes on the outside, we're dividing by x plus 4. So remember, it's just the opposite sign. So a negative 4 should go out here. Okay. Then your lead coefficients, or sorry, just your coefficients need to go on the inside. So we have a 1x cubed. Then we have a 3x squared. Then we have a negative 10x. And then a negative 24 constant. Okay, now we're not missing any terms there. It went from x cubed to x squared to x to the first to no x, right? So we're not missing any terms, so we don't have to plug in 0 to hold the place of any. So now we can go ahead and get started. So remember, you always drop down that first number. So drop down the 1. Then you're multiplying here. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Then you're adding going down. So 3 plus negative 4 is negative 1. Then multiply again. Negative 4 times negative 1 is a positive 4. Add going down. Negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. Then multiply again. Negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. Negative 24 plus 24 is 0. So that works out nicely. And then what you're going to do is, remember, this started as an x cubed, so you're going to drop that down 1 degree. So now this would be, this first term is going to be an x squared. This is going to be an x. This is going to be a constant. Whoops. And this is going to be the remainder, which a remainder of 0 is great. That means you don't even have to put that there. So your final answer, these are your coefficients. So this would look like 1x squared minus 1x, and then your constant is minus 6. And that's it. Okay, so this is your answer. You could also write it as just x squared minus x minus 6. And you just divided two polynomials. So we just divided x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x minus 24 by x plus 4. And this is the solution, or the quotient. Okay. All right, so let's do another one. Take it slow and just go step by step. So first draw this. Then you're dividing by x minus 2, so do the opposite sign and put a positive 2 out there. Okay. Then look at your coefficients. And now be careful. This goes from x to the 5th, x to the 4th, to x to the x squared. So we're missing, we're going to have to plug in a 0 for that x cubed. We're missing a term. Okay. So this is going to look like negative 5, negative 2, 0 to hold the place of the x cubed term, 32, negative 48, and 32. So I just plugged in all of my different coefficients. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is drop this one down. So we drop down the negative 5, the first term. And then remember, you're multiplying here. So 2 times negative 5, negative 10. Then you're adding going down. So negative 2 plus negative 10, negative 12. Okay. Then 2 times negative 12, negative 24. 0 plus negative 24, negative 24. Then multiply again. 2 times negative 24, negative 48. 32 plus negative 48 is going to be a negative 16. Whoops. 16. 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. Oh, these numbers are going to get kind of big. Negative 48 plus negative 32 is going to give you a negative 80. And then 2 times negative 80 is negative 160. And then 32 plus negative 160 is negative 128. And like I said, the numbers got a little bit big, but that's okay. So now these are all going to be our coefficients for the solution or the quotient. And so this was an x to the 5th degree. So we need to drop it down. This is going to be x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared, x, constant, and remainder. Okay, and it should always work out nicely like that. So then your answer is going to look like negative 5 x to the 4th minus 12 x cubed minus 24 x squared minus 16x minus 80 is our constant. And then remember, when you have a remainder, we're going to put negative or minus 128. And then you need to put it over what we originally divided by. So x minus 2. And this is your final answer right here. Okay. So kind of crazy, kind of a lot of work, but I promise you guys this is an easier method than long division. Okay. All right, let's try one more together here. So we have x cubed minus x squared plus 4x plus 6 divided by x plus 2. So again, we just want to take the opposite sign of that, so negative 2. Then we want to take these coefficients here. So we have x cubed, x squared, x constant. So we're not missing any terms, so we don't need any placeholders, zeros. So x cubed, the coefficient is 1, right? If there's nothing there, we assume it's a 1. Then negative x squared, we're going to assume that's a negative 1. Then 4x and 6. So again, drop down this first one. Multiply. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And then you're adding going down. So negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Then multiply. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. And then negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. And then 6 plus negative 20 is negative 14. Okay. So again, this started as an x cubed, so that's going to drop it down 1 degree to be an x squared. X, constant, and remainder. So this is going to look like 1x squared, or just x squared, minus 3x, plus 10, and then minus 14 as our remainder. But remember, you need to put it over this original divisor, so x plus 2. And that's your final answer. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and pause the video and try this next one here. Keep in mind that it does go from x to the 4th to x cubed to x. So we do need a placeholder here. Okay, so be careful of that. And like I said, go ahead and pause and try this problem. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video, and this should have been your final answer. So we had the 2 out front. Oops. Because of this, the opposite sign. Then we had negative 2, 6, 0, 3, negative 1 on the inside. And then we just followed the process. So drop down the first number, then multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, and so on and so forth. And so this is your final answer. So go ahead and check your work. All right. Cool. So that's really it for synthetic division and dividing polynomials using that method. We will do some more practice with this in class tomorrow. So please, if you have any questions, bring them to class. Okay? Have a good one. Bye-bye.